Okay, I'm sharing a screen for the practicum class first. Today is the last class for this semester. So we have Elijah's presentation and chapter 15 and 16 and EFE report. And some students uploaded the EFE verification form only. So please upload the EFE report by today for your final grade. And we have a final, paper and practice session paper. It is due on next Thursday. So I will update your final grade based on these two assignments. Also, for the assessment class, Aaliyah and Taylor, you are the presenter of chapter 10 and 11. And article review paper, it is due on April 16th. Some students uploaded already, but some students, I'm still waiting for them. And final exam is available on the Blackboard. Yeah, so please complete it as soon as possible. All right. Elijah, can you share your screen for your presentation?
Yeah. So chapter 15 and 16, this is my presentation. Chapter 15 was on developmentally appropriate learning environments for preschoolers. Chapter 16 was on developmentally appropriate learning environments for primary age children. So chapter 15 kind of went into pre-operational thinking, and it's defined by Piaget. He has a lot to do with this stage. The period is between the ages of 2 and 7. And in this stage, the children are not able to form fully logical thinking links in their thinking. Piaget identified two separate substages within the pre-operational period. The first one occurs between the ages of 2 and 4 when children start to apply well-known action patterns to something outside of themselves. And the second occurs between the ages of 4 and 7 when children's cognition advances to the point where they can somewhat understand relationships. However, toddlers' pre-operational reasoning is restricted in specific ways in both phases, which has ramifications for those attempting to comprehend how these kids learn best. So egocentrism is a component of incapacity to focus on more than one aspect of a situation at once. So preschoolers who are egocentric interpret everything in terms of themselves and are unable to comprehend the perspectives or emotions of other people. Preschoolers that suffer from this often hold conversations in which they omit important details and grow irate with those who don't grasp what they're trying to say. So they get frustrated, they get irritated, they get upset when you don't understand what they're trying to say. Preschoolers who are egocentric also come to believe in animism because they assume that all objects are the same living qualities that they have personally experienced. For preschoolers, egocentrism is highly developmentally appropriate. So chapter 15 also went into symbolic thought, and that is when it has the ability to readily sing in the increased language use that allows preschoolers to think ahead, solve problems, and anticipate consequences without having to tie these activities to actions. Thus, their activities become more purposeful and goal-oriented. Symbolic thought is also evident in the increase in complex make-believe play. So chapter 15 also went into constructivism. Again, Piaget has a lot to do with chapter 15 and 16. But here are a few, oops, how I go back? Here are a few just cognitive abilities that is according to Lynch and Warner. I don't really know who that is, but here are a few mathematical and quantitative expertise, the visual processing, the capacity to identify and make sense of visual stimuli, readiness for reading and writing, decision speed, fluid intellect. These are a few of just the 10 general cognitive abilities that students should have. So chapter 16 went into current issues involving school. The development of cognitive skills is the focus of community attention during the early years of life. Some children's some children's difficulties in school may stem from an emphasis of cognitive and a lack of attention to other areas of a child's development. Inappropriate approaches include disregarding the connections between all the areas of development and not creating coherent courses that provide opportunities for the students to draw meaningful conclusions when faced with fresh information. So this slide goes into the Common Core standards. The Council of Chief State School Officers released academic standards in math and ELA in 2010, which was publicized by the National Governors Association. These learning objectives specify what students must understand and be able to perform by the conclusion of each grade. The purpose of the standards is to guarantee that every high school graduate has the skills and knowledge required to succeed in college, trade school, workforce, etc. 43 states, DC, and 4 American territories have all ratified the criteria. States must utilize these standards to help them create their own specialized education programs because they are in line with state and college requirements, as well as career and college expectations for grades K through 12. So projects was another big part of this chapter. The foundation of developmentally appropriate learning activities in elementary school is theme study. So the projects outline core issues that cover a range of topics and grow over an extended length of time. Children learn the fundamentals through activities centered around a theme as part of a comprehensive study of the subject, which help them understand the importance of the abilities. It is not always possible to fully include certain disciplines like math into theme work because theme studies don't always provide enough exposure to the concepts. Everything that logically falls under the theme is covered. Everything else is handled separately. And these are my 3 review questions.
Right, Eliza, thank you so much for your presentation. Okay, so I sent you already and review questions. For save your time and we move on assessment class. So I surely please prepare your presentation, Aaliyah and Taylor, and chapter 10 and 11 right now. So I surely summarized chapter 15 and Elijah's presentation. Thank you, Elijah. Okay, chapter 15 mainly deal with cognitive development. We already knew about, Piaget's cognitive development theory. So it is the one. So, and how to prepare developmentally appropriate learning environment for the preschoolers based on the, primary and, children and preschoolers too. So there are several key concepts inside of chapter 15 and pre-operational stage and the sensory motor stage. Yeah, sensory stage and pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. And Piaget, categorized 4 stages of children's cognitive development. So inside of chapter 15, you will find easily about egocentrism. And according to the Piaget, and egocentrism is self-centered view. And the newborn baby and infant toddler, they believe that the world evolve around them, so they are the center of the world. So, and all we have egocentric view and self-centered view. So, however, in this stage, egocentrism is really a critical part for their subjective statement. And symbolic thinking, and they are thinking based on the symbolic, views. So this ability is seen as increase the language use and allow them to think, ahead and problem solving skills. So cause and effect and the seriation and categorization is a part of a symbolic thinking and in the process. So Vygotsky and Piaget, and they are the cognitive development theorists. So please remember Piaget and schema, mental agent, and new information is coming, assimilation, and performing, and assimilation and accommodation. And finally, they have a balanced thinking and equilibrium. And Vygotsky added the language and the cultural perspective inside of Piaget's cognitive development theory. So he added the ZPD concept and zone of proximal development and scaffolding system. Scaffolding system is is supporting system for student learning and thinking. Okay, let's move on.
I had chapter 10, the portfolio assessment. Oh, all right. Curriculum and teaching for children in the early childhood years and quality programs shifted from an academic approach to a developmental one in the latter part of the 20th century. Recently, instructors have rethought how they assess students and shifted their attention to accountability demands and the increased use of standardized examinations. Oh, shoot. Alternative reporting methods based on genuine or performance evaluations give more than just letter grades. They can include 1, a continuum of development and learning, 2, information about the entire child rather than just mastered skills, 3, diagnostic information that allows the teacher to adjust instruction and activities, and 4, examples of what the child has done to demonstrate understanding. Portfolios are collections of a student's work and instructor data from informal and performance evaluations used to examine development and learning. A portfolio may be held solely by and for the kid, containing samples of work over time. Portfolios can be used as assessment, evaluation, self-reflection, and progress reporting. A portfolio collection is utilized to provide a comprehensive picture of the student's activities throughout time. The portfolio should include several instances of a student's work, allowing for repeated assessments of concepts, skills, and projects, resulting in an accurate image of what the student knows and can use in a relative context. And I put like a 2-minute video in this thing.
Aaliyah, we cannot hear the voice. So, and
It's a call to by sending a letter outlining your expectations and introducing yourself. Timeliness. In order to find a timely solution, adults should get in touch as soon as an issue arises. If you wait too long, it might frustrate everyone involved and lead to new issues. Consistency and frequency. Parents want regular updates on how their children are doing with their schoolwork. So it's important that you consistently remind them and send newsletters about their child. Following through, both educators and parents want to ensure that the other will carry out their obligations. Then there's clarity and usefulness of communication, and teachers and parents should be able to get the information they need to support their children in a way and with a language that fits their understanding. Guidelines for effective communication. Rather than focusing on shortcomings or problems, aim for a positive outlook. And that you could do that with giving out phone calls with good news, invite parent feedback on rules and procedures and take them into consideration, contacting the parents at the first sign of concern, and communicating a hopeful message about the child. You also want to emphasize a win-win mentality rather than placing the blame. So discuss and focus on mutual goals and interests for the child. And when you're speaking with parents, you want to use words such as we, us, our versus you, I, yours, and mine. Consider the tone as well as the content of your conversation. Change the focus of the conversation from problems to the student's goals. Pay attention to the parent's ability to support. And here are my review questions.
Okay, it's unmuted. All right, I surely highlight important key part of chapter 10 and 11. So, and as far as I know, and portfolio assessment is informal assessment type, and portfolio assessment refers to a comprehensive overview of a student learning and achievement. So you may include essay and art and graph and standardized test and journal and other tests and other student, and work samples. So in these days, we updated the e-portfolio instead of, and the file portfolios. So it is one of alternative assessment and approaches. Chapter 11 mainly deal with how to communicate with the families. So according to the Joyce Epstein and Johns Hopkins University, and she created 6 types of family involvement. So, and first one is learning at home and volunteer and the communication and the decision making, and you can invite them to the TPA meeting and or other school events and service, and you can involve them. So communication is one of them from the Joyce Epstein. So, and Taylor already highlighted the huge benefit when we communicate with the families. So it is a part of a family-centered view, right? And teacher have benefit, and parents benefit, and student benefit too. So we have a consistent learning and monitoring and positive outlooks. And we have a healthy channel. When we have a healthy channel to between home and school, so we have a chance to get a deeper understanding of each family member and their subculture and their types of families, and also and we have chance to learn more about children too. So there are several ways to communicate with the families. And Tyler introduced the parent newsletter and open house and phone calls and text and the SNS. And you can invite some special events such as Grandparents' Day and the field trips and school event and others. So, and workshops and PTA meeting too. Okay, thank you all for your presentation, Elijah and Taylor and Aliyah. Okay, please leave your short answer over review questions. So, and evaluation score too. So I surely update your activity and participation grade based on your answers. All right. And today is the last day for this semester and the practicum class and assessment class. So I already sent your current grade so far in yesterday. So, and I am waiting for your EFP report and EFP verification form. So some student missed the EFP report. So, and when you go to the first syllabus, and 3 requirements and for the EFP and 30 clock hours, and you need the EFP packet, but and you don't need to upload on your Dropbox folder and EFP packet. You can use collect data, use the packet. So most important thing is EFP verification form. It is an official document to verify you successfully complete your EFP hours and EFP report. And 2 to 3 page long essay paper about your EFP report and EFP observation hours. So it is due on today, so please upload it. And also practice 2 practice session paper. So I already sent some resources of practice 2 session paper and Samira as email, and I CC'd you to all. So I think you received the resources, right? So it is due on next Thursday and 1 week later. So please upload this session paper on your Dropbox folder. And assessment class and article review paper I'm waiting for. It is 10% of a final lecture grade. So without this article review paper, you don't have a chance to get an A. So please upload it as soon as possible. And finally, exam is available on the Blackboard. So it is by next Thursday. So please complete it. And some of you already complete the test. So I send your current grade by email and last night. So I share the room and have an individual conference for your assignment and grade